Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning portal for the preparation of competitive exams. My name is Neelam, and I'm going to be your facilitator for CAT and other management exams. In yesterday's session, that was What After CAT, I urged all of you to start focusing on non-CAT exams. And one of these exams is XAT, which is going to happen in the first week of January. So, in today's session, I'm going to focus on why XAT is important, the structure and the test pattern of XAT, as well as we will also discuss a bit about the preparation plan for XAT. All right, so let's start today's session, that is orientation to XAT. Before that, let me give you a brief introduction of myself. My name is Neelam Malkani. I possess around 12 years of experience of test preparation industry and have been training students for CAT, XAT, GRE, GMAT, IELTS and TOEFL. My areas of expertise have been English and verbal reasoning. I also design and set assessment papers of English for different competitive exams. I did this for governing bodies as well as for professional bodies. For a brief period of time, I also served as an examiner of English for an international organization. Recently, I have written a comprehensive book of English for the preparation of competitive exams. The book is written in both Hindi and English. The video is brought to you by Unacademy. Let me take you to its portal and tell you how you can start your preparation for your targeted exams. You have to go in the Play Store of your phone and download Unacademy Learning app. As a learner, you have to download the Learning app. After you fill in all the details, you will be shown the offerings under Plus, free courses and special classes. Once you have this app in your mobile phone, you will have access to free courses and special classes. But if you want to prepare for CAT and want to access the Plus courses, you will have to subscribe the product. When you go in the subscription, you will be shown all the features that you will be availing once you subscribe to the course. Features such as 30 hours of live sessions every day. So as per your availability, as per your suitable time, you can choose the time of your sessions. These sessions are delivered by 14 plus top educators of India who possess wealth of experience of guiding and mentoring students in their respective domains. The courses which are delivered by these top educators are extensively designed by those people who have experience of module and curriculum design. The courses have fine balance of conceptual, clarity and testing so that you're prepared well for the exam. Once you go further for the subscription, you will be shown different models of subscription. Suit your plan of this preparation. If you are preparing for those exams which are happening in December and January, you can go for 1 month's subscription. That is 3,500. But if you are preparing for CAT 2021, you have to go for 1 year subscription. That will be 17,500. Whichever model of subscription you choose, if you want further 10% discount, you will have to type referral code NEELAM. With that code, you will be able to avail further 10% discount and your fee is going to come down to 3,150 for 1 month and 15,750 for yearly subscription. These subscriptions are best in the industry and are pocket friendly. All right. So that is all about Unacademy. When you download your app, learning app of Unacademy, if you want to attend free classes, you will have to type code NEELAM to unlock those courses, right? If you are satisfied with the courses, you can then decide to subscribe the course. All right, this is how the whole scheme of things go. All right. Now, let's start with today's session, that is XAT orientation. Now, why XAT? XAT gives you access to more than 160 colleges of India. If you take IIFT, the only college that you are going to apply to is IIFT. So it has two campuses and now it is going to have three campuses. There is one college, that is IIFT. Whereas when you take XAT, you can get admission to as many as 160 colleges of India. So that is the biggest benefit that you have when you take XAT. All the Xavier institutes except XAT score for the admissions to college management programs. XLRI is going to have another campus in Delhi from this year. So XLRI Jamshedpur, XLRI Delhi, both will accept XAT score. With that, XISS Ranchi, XIMB Bhubaneswar and XIME Bangalore, all these Xavier institutes will give admission on the basis of XAT score only. And these are top colleges in their respective fields. Other than Xavier allied institutes, you will see SP Jain, IMT Ghaziabad, LIBA, that is Loyola Institute of Management Administration in Chennai, that is again one of the finest colleges down in South. TAPMI, Great Lakes Chennai, KJ Somaya. Inclusive of these colleges, you will have as many as 160 colleges accepting XAT scores. All right. With that, another advantage of applying to XAT, applying through XAT to these colleges is that these colleges are not going to look at your sectional cutoff. When they consider your XAT score, they look at the overall cutoff, except SP Jain Mumbai, which is going to see your sectional cutoff as well as which is also going to look into your profile. Except this college and XLRI, all other colleges will not look at your sectional cutoff. So that is another advantage that you can get benefited from if you take XAT. Alright? So that is why XAT becomes all the more important. So XAT is conducted by XLRI on behalf of all Xavier institutes. It's conducted by XLRI and it's going to be a computer-based test. So since 2019, it has been delivered by internet. So it's going to be a computer-based test this year as well, and the test is going to be conducted on 3rd of January. That's going to be the first Sunday of 2021. It's going to happen in single day session, unlike CAT, which was delivered in 3 different slots. The XAT is going to be conducted in 1 slot because the pool of applicants is limited. That is why the exam will be administered in 1 single slot. So you don't have to worry about the normalization, you don't have to worry about papers which are delivered in different slots. There is going to be 1 paper, all the applicants are going to take the exam simultaneously. The exam is going to happen in the morning slot, that is 9:30 to 12:30. That means the duration of the exam is going to be 3 hours. Now let's talk about the structure of the exam. There are going to be 4 sections this year as well in XAT, like 2020 paper which was conducted this year for the admissions to 2021-2023 batch. The paper had 4 sections: decision making, verbal ability and logical reasoning, quantitative ability, data interpretation, and general knowledge. Yes, as I said yesterday, you will have to start brushing up your general knowledge and general awareness. XAT is also one of the exams which is going to test you on that area. Though the general knowledge section is not going to be calculated to calculate your percentile, but it will be considered for the admissions to XLRI. Alright, so that is why it has been made one of the components of exam. So it carries some weightage. Duration of the exam is 3 hours, that is 180 minutes. Number of questions is going to be 100 and the total marks is also going to be 100. That means each question carries 1 mark, right? So with that, I hope we are clear. There are going to be 4 sections. Duration of exam is going to be 3 hours, 100 questions, 100 marks. Now, unlike CAT, where you had sectional time limit, every section was devoted 40 minutes. There won't be any sectional time limit for that. So as per your choice, you can devote as much time on a specific section as you want, right? But you may not want to do that because you will have to clear the section cutoff. So if you spend inordinate amount of time on a specific section, you may not be able to clear the other sections cutoff. All right. So, but that is the latitude that you enjoy with XAT structure. There is no sectional time limit. You will have to apply your time management skills here more efficiently. Second, you can choose any section to begin with. Since there is no sectional time limit, you can have access to entire paper at the beginning only, and then you can choose which section you want to start your test with. If your forte lies in verbal ability, you can begin with verbal ability, or if your strength lies in quantitative ability, you can choose to start your test with that section. All right, so that is the leeway you can enjoy in XAT. The restriction that you had in CAT is going to go away in XAT because now you can choose your own section. And you will have access to entire paper. As in when you start your paper, you will have access to entire paper. Alright, so you can scan a paper, you can see which section has what varieties of question, and then you can pick and choose those questions. Alright, so these three features are there in XAT that you can take that you can employ for your advantage, that you can actually use for your advantage. All right, so there is no sectional time limit. The time limit is on entire paper, that is going to be 165 minutes. I'll come to that, though there are 3 hours, but for quant, for verbal ability, and for decision making, you will be given 165 minutes. 15 minutes time will be given for GK. All right, so for doing these 3 sections, you will have 165 minutes. So there is an overall time limit. There is no sectional time limit. Sectional time limit is there for GK only, not for other 3 sections. There are no, you can choose your section, which section you want to start your test with. All right, so I hope we are clear with that. Let's move on and now talk about the number of questions, the sectional breakup. Quant and DI will have the highest number of questions, that is going to be 28. So this section is going to have the highest number of questions, followed by VARC, that will have 26 questions. Decision making, 29 questions. Now, over a period of time, this section has given a lot of importance by XAT. It used to be fused with analytical reasoning and logical reasoning, but over a period of time, it started to give a separate section to decision making. Now, this section has actually emerged as the game changer for XAT. In coming slide, we will discuss how it can be a game changer. So, 21 questions in decision making. Each question carries 1 mark, hence 28 marks for quanti, 26 marks for VRC, and 21 marks for decision making. As I said, 165 minutes out of 180 minutes will be for these 3 sections. For these 3 sections, there is no sectional time limit, but there is overall time limit. For doing these 3 sections, you will have 165 minutes, and after that, you will be given part B of the test. The part B of the test will be GK. For that, you will be given 15 minutes. So overall, 180 minutes, 3 hours. Now, if you see the time breakup, so 165 minutes, 75 questions. That means 2.2 minutes each section. All right. And if you see 165 divided by 3, that means 55 minutes for each section. So if you see from that point of view, 55 minutes each section seems quite a doable task, right? Because XAT is a very low scoring exam. The section cutoff is going to be very low, as well as the overall cutoff is also going to be very low. So 55 minutes for each section. Now, one of these strategies that could be you spend 50 minutes on each section. in order to clear cutoff, as well as in order to score well in the overall exam, you can spend 50 minutes each section. Last 15 minutes that you have, you can spend those 15 minutes on the section that is your strongest area in order to maximize your overall score. Or another strategy could be that you spend 45 minutes each section and then remaining time you spend on the section that is your strongest area. All right, because that is how you can allocate sufficient time to each section, as well as you will also try to increase your overall score. All right, so 55 minutes each section or 2.2 minutes each question. Whichever strategy you want to employ, you have to keep in mind that you have to clear the sectional cutoff. Accordingly, you will have to devote sufficient time to each section. Now let's talk about part B, that is going to be GK. So GK and general awareness, general knowledge, general awareness. So don't be under this illusion that XAT is going to test only your business GK or general information related to company, organization, their logo, catch lines, merger and acquisition. That is definitely tested. But over and above, what is tested is your basic understanding of all the spheres of general knowledge, basic understanding of constitution, basic understanding of geography, history, science. Every domain of general affair will be tested. Your books and author, scientists and their discovery, international and geopolitical issues, some prominent places, some prominent issues which were hotly debated in contemporary times. So everything is going to be tested. So this area or this section is usually overlooked by most of the candidates because one, it is not calculated in your overall score, in your percentile. This section is not calculated. Most of the colleges are not going to look at your GK score, but if you're targeting XLRI, both the courses, for shortlisting candidates for both the courses, this score is going to be evaluated. This score is going to be considered, right? Especially in interview, the second phase of your exam, right? So do not ignore this section. As I said yesterday as well, most of the exams that you are going to take now will have GK, like this, IFT, XAT, as well as CMAT. So all these exams will have GK. Along with that, the second phase of your exam, that is going to be WAT, GD and PR. In that, GK will be extensively tested. So you better start your preparation for this part as well. Don't overlook, don't ignore it anymore. So 25 questions, 25 marks. So 15 minutes are given because GK, either you can do it or you cannot do it. You cannot actually calculate, you cannot do anything, you cannot work your way with GK question. If you know it, you answer. If you don't know it, you just move on, usually, right? So that is why 15 minutes to do 25 questions. No negative marking for this, and this section is not going to be considered for your percentile calculation. All right. XAT will have 5 options. In each question, you will have 5 options. So there is going to be more confusion. Fine. So I hope you are clear with this slide. So sectional breakup. Quantitative aptitude will have 28 questions, BRC 26, DM 21. The time limit for these 3 sections is going to be 165 minutes. So accordingly, you can chalk out your strategy, 55 minutes each section, 50 minutes each section, 45 minutes each section, right? So there are 3 strategies, whichever works best for you, whichever works best for you in the mock, you can finally freeze that, right? Remaining is going to be GK, 25 questions to be done in 15 minutes, 25 marks. At the same time, the section is not going to be calculated and it will not carry negative marking. Now let's talk about the marking scheme, which is again very controversial. So that is fundamentally very different exam, different from all other management exams conducted in India, because it has a different character, right? It actually tests different characteristics of candidates, and that is why decision making is part and parcel of it. You will not see decision making. Recently, it has been introduced in NMAT, but that too, it's a different kind of decision making. XAT has a very different way of testing your decision making skills. So it's a different exam, fundamentally different from other exams. So marking scheme is also different. Let's see how. So 1 mark will be awarded for each right answer. 0.25 marks will be deducted for each wrong answer. Right? So far we are clear. But if you leave more than 8 questions unanswered, you will also be penalized. Right? So 0.10 is going to be the penalty imposed on each question after 8 questions that you leave unanswered. So there is going to be heavy penalty for leave. There is not going to be heavy penalty, but there is going to be penalty for leaving the question unanswered. So with that, XAT is actually luring you into marking more and more questions. And with that, it is also asking you to get into the trap of marking more and more answers, questions incorrect. Because if you mark more questions, you're not spending enough time on each question. You're not carefully considering each question. You are possibly randomly marking those questions, or you are not giving due attention to each question. And with that, your chances of marking the incorrect answer are higher, right? And ultimately, that is going to bring down your score. So that is just a lure. With that deterrence that you will be penalized for not marking the questions, with that deterrence, it is luring you into believing that more marking will lead to more attempt will lead to more marking, but that is just a trap. Don't fall into that. So for that, I have given you 2 scenarios, right? So please try to understand how this can actually lead to lower marks or lower score. So you attempt 50 questions out of 75 questions, right? You got 40 questions correct out of those 50 questions because you have maintained your high accuracy level. You have only marked those questions that you were sure about in all 3 sections. Nonetheless, you got 10 incorrect, you got 40 correct. Alright, now let's see the score. Okay, 40 correct out of 50. Incorrect 10. So as per the penalty of 0.25, you will be deducted 2.5 from 40. Now let's see. 25 minus 8. You left 25 questions unanswered. You attempted 50. You left 25 questions unanswered. So 25 minus 8, because 8 questions, as long as you leave 8 questions, you won't be imposed any penalty. Right? So 25 minus 8, that means 17, for 17 questions unanswered, you will have to pay penalty, and that penalty is 0.10. So 17 into 0.10 is going to be 1.7. So your marking was 40, you got 40 answers correct, minus 1.7 minus 2.5 is going to be 4.2. So 40 minus 4.2 is going to be 35.8. Your score is finally going to be 35.8. Because you maintained your accuracy, you marked only those questions which you were certain about. You did not go for random guessing, you did not go for random marking, just because you had this deterrence of being penalized for leaving the questions unanswered. Now look at this scenario. Now because of this deterrence, you attempted 15 questions more. In each section, you increase your attempt by 5 questions and you increase 15 questions. So overall, out of 75, you attempted 65 questions. But your accuracy remained 40 because you possibly attempted 5 questions in each section just to increase your attempt. You did not sufficiently read those questions, or you did not consider those questions carefully. So your accuracy level remained at 40. Incorrect 25 because 65 you attempted, 40 you got correct. Correct. So 25 you got incorrect. 6.25 is going to be the penalty for marking questions incorrect. Look at Look at the penalty for leaving the question. 10 minus 8. You left only 10 questions now. So 8 questions are not going to be penalized. Minus 2 questions is going to be 10 minus 8. 2 questions are going to be penalized. For that, 0.2 is going to be a penalty. Overall, 6.45 is going to be the deduction from your overall marking. That is going to come down to 33.55. Right? So, just because there is a penalty on leaving the questions unanswered does not mean you should mark those questions indiscriminately. You should mark those questions wrong. If you're not sure about the answer, leave that question as it is. The strategy that you had for CAT, you put premium on accuracy, you put premium on those questions which you are sure about. You have to apply the same strategy for XAT as well, because the difficulty level is actually going to be higher. All right, so marking scheme is a bit complicated, but you don't have to be swayed by this whole deterrence. You have to stick to the strategy that you have been applying. All right, so with these two scenarios, I hope it's explicitly clear to you that marking more questions is definitely going to lead to lowering your score. So you better stay focused on accuracy. All right. Now let's talk about each section in detail. I'll begin with verbal ability. Now verbal ability, as I said, is going to have 26 questions. Right? Now, as has been the case in CAT, XAT verbal ability section is also dominated by reading comprehension. 2018, 2019 and 2020. In all these papers, you will see 15 to 16 questions solely from reading comprehension. And these passages are drawn from history, social science, philosophy, psychology, abstruse science, and science journals, usually written in a very dense, complicated language. You will find CAT passages more interesting because they are more understandable. They are easy to absorb. They are easy to read. The XAT passages, possibly some of the passages will be of the kind where you won't be able to make head and tail of the message, of the content of the passage. You possibly is going to scratch your head that what this paragraph is saying. They are very abstract in nature. They are written in a very dense and convoluted language. So you will have to adapt to the kind of passages which appear in XAT. And for that, you have to solve only XAT papers. No other material. You take GMAT material, GRE material or CAT material. No other material is going to give you the reflection of XAT passages. Only XAT papers, previous year papers will give you the reflection of level of difficulty and the typical style which appear in XAT papers. Alright, so reading comprehension, again, most dominated area in verbal ability, there will be around 4 to 5 passages. And the worst part is each passage will have 2 to 3 questions. Unlike CAT, where each passage will have 4 to 5 questions. So if you have read a passage, you have invested your time, you have invested your energy, you have understood the essence, it's going to benefit you for solving at least 4 to 5 questions. But here, you will have only 2 to 3 questions after each passage. Right? So 5 passages, maybe 6 passages, densely written, convoluted language, written on a very abstruse subject, and then 2 to 3 questions. So for them, you will have to base your preparation only on previous year papers of XAT. Alright, so that is going to be the most dominated area, followed by critical reasoning. Now this is going to be one part of verbal ability that you have to focus on. Because critical reasoning is not going to help you in verbal ability, that will also help you in decision making section. Because it is decision making, logical reasoning, right? So some parts of decision making will be dictated by principles of reasoning and logic. So if you're through with those basic fundamentals of logic, solving decision making is going to be easier for you. Alright, so critical reasoning, around 4 to 5 questions. Last year there were 5 questions based on critical reasoning. So you better start solving questions of critical reasoning. For that, I would recommend GMAT OG official guide for GMAT, right? So the latest version of GMAT OG can always be preferred for solving critical reasoning questions, because the level of questions of GMAT is comparable to that of XAT. But again, I would recommend that you also look at the critical reasoning questions of previous year paper of XAT. Alright, so critical reasoning, sometimes XAT question actually gives you the pattern of reasoning. After reading the paragraph, you will have to identify which pattern of reasoning this question is exhibiting. Is it a non sequitur? Is it insufficient sample? Is it hasty generalization? Is it some other flaw of reasoning? So sometimes you also have to be thorough with the terminology of reasoning, what non sequitur is, what insufficient sample is, what hasty generalization is, right? So these are different flaws of reasoning. So unless you know them, unless you are well versed in these terminologies of critical reasoning, you may find it difficult to do critical reasoning part of XAT. Alright, so you will have to get your fundamentals clear, and you have to sufficiently practice all these principles of critical reasonings to feel confident about XAT. Alright, followed by Panajambal. Consistently there have been 2 questions of Panajambal and they were pretty much doable. Right? So they were not very difficult. If you are through with the concepts of Panajambal, you can easily do these questions. Now, one part in verbal ability section that did not appear in CAT, but that's going to be a focal point for XAT and SAP and IFT, that is going to be vocab and grammar. So in CAT, you did not practice these 2 sections, but I hope that these 2 sections have been part and parcel of your preparation for management exams. So vocab and grammar is going to be there in SAT as well, 4 to 5 questions, and that's sufficiently good number of questions out of 25 questions. And they are all the more important because they are less time consuming. You don't have to read much in order to answer the questions, right? And sometimes if you are very confident about the principle, the grammatical principle, it may be very quick for you to fetch your answer, because you know the principle, you just have to apply that concept. If you're good at application, you will get your answer quickly. Same happens with vocabulary. If you know the meaning of the word, choosing synonym, antonym, or choosing the relationship of the word is going to be far easier for you. Or if you know the shades of difference of the word, filling that word in a specific sentence is also going to be a cakewalk for you. Fine? So FIB, analogy, synonym, antonym, and sentence correction based on the grammatical accuracy are the questions which have come in recent years. So filling the blank may be based on prepositions, may be based on vocabulary, both, right? So XAT has a kind of fixation with preposition. Time and again, it has tested this grammatical concepts very frequently. So FIB, there will be 3 to 4 blanks in a sentence. You will have to fill the correct preposition. Analogy, 2 words will be given. You will have to see the relationship of those words. The same relationship has to be exhibited in the answer pair. If the given pair is synonymous, the answer pair has to be synonymous. If the given pair is exhibiting some other relationship, your answer pair should also display the same relationship. That is what is the analogy. Synonym, antonym, I hope you are clear with that. Sentence correction, a part of the sentence will be bold-faced or will be underlined. You will have to choose the correct version of that sentence, replacement of that sentence, right? So for XAT preparation, vocab and grammar will also need your attention, and as I said, less time consuming, and you are very sure about your answer, because some of the reading comprehension, as I said, the passages are so densely written and there is so much subjectivity involved in those questions that you cannot be sure about your answer. Sometimes, despite getting your evidence from the passage, you still cannot be sure that your answer is 100% correct. But for vocabulary and grammar, you can be 100% sure of your answer. There is no subjectivity because it's based on rule, it's based on usage. So now you have to shift your focus on vocab and grammar as well. 4 to 5 questions, it may go up to 6, 7 questions as well. 6 to 7 questions, or at least 6 questions out of 26 questions is a huge proportion that you cannot afford to ignore. Alright? So this is how the verbal ability section goes. Reading comprehension again is going to be your prime focus, and for that I advise you to start solving previous year XAT papers. The kind of passages which appear in XAT can only be found in previous year XAT paper. No other paper is going to give you that kind of rigor. Critical reasoning, XAT papers only, but with that you can also solve GMAT official guide with the recent version of GMAT official guide, and be thorough with the reasoning terminology. Vocab and grammar, whichever module you have or whichever preparation material you have, solve that extensively, see previous year papers of XAT for vocabulary and grammar, be thorough with basic principles of grammar. Principles like conditional, tenses, subject verb agreement, preposition, article. These are those concepts which are widely tested by these exams. So you better be thorough with them and try to apply these principles on different exercises. Solve as many exercises as you can so that you define your concept. Knowing concept is one thing, applying that concept in an exercise and getting your answer correct is different thing altogether. Alright? So try to apply your concepts. Fine? Let's move on and talk about the verbal ability good attempt. So here you can see, as I said, either you can go for 55 minutes each section, or you can go for 45 minutes. Another strategy is that if you want to score well in first one section, that is your forte, you can go for 60 minutes. So assume you devote 60 minutes to verbal ability. The number of good attempt in verbal ability is going to be 15 to 17 out of 26 questions, right? So verbal ability, the difficulty level has lowered over a period of time. It was very high, but recent years it has been moderate to difficult. It's not very difficult, it's moderate to difficult. So the number of good attempts is going to be 15, 16, 17, right? So if you are in that bracket, you can be safe. There must be 85% accuracy level. That means if you are attempting 17 questions, you must have at least 40 questions correct. Alright, so 2 to 3 questions incorrect will give you 85% accuracy. Now time must be around the sectional cutoff is expected to be around 10 to 11 marks. Since verbal is your forte, I am assuming verbal is your forte, that's why you have decided to devote 60-65 minutes to this. Your section cutoff is going to be cleared easily with 10 to 11 marks, but since you have chosen to make verbal ability to maximize your score, that's why you're devoting this much time. So with this much accuracy, you will be able to clear section cutoff, and this is also going to help you maximize your overall score. Alright, so stay focused on having this kind of strategy in whichever section you choose as your forte. Alright, decision making, as I said at the very beginning, it's going to be a deciding factor. Now this used to be intermingled with analytical reasoning. So a few years ago, I guess in 2013-14, it used to be with analytical reasoning. After that, XAT started giving decision making as a separate section. Now it has become such an important section that 21 questions, around 21 questions are solely from this section only. Now, there used to be certain questions which were calculation intensive, which were based on some kind of mathematical calculations. You require to work with numbers, work with data, and then come to your decision. But last year, it was a breather that there was no calculation-based decision-making question, right? So if it goes on the same pattern which appeared in 2020, 2021 will also be based on some kind of caselets only. Now, what it actually has and what it actually tests. As I said, XLRI or XAT has a specific character. So the college is focused on industrial relationship, right? Labor and industrial relationship. So the name which it has given to its program for HR specifically tells about the ethos of Xavier Institute, right? So there are certain things or attributes that XAT or XLRI wants its candidates to have, to possess, right? So those attributes are ethical decision making, level-headed approach to solve a complex problem, a complex scenario, at the same time being pragmatic and practical while solving business-related problems, right? So these are certain attributes that when you be practical, when you try to be practical in a specific situation, you don't compromise on ethics. You don't compromise on business ethics. Same time, when you are being ethical, you also take care of pragmatism. So how to tread this balancing act, how to do this balancing act is the whole thing that you have to exhibit, whether you possess that skill or not. So that is what is tested, how level-headed you are to come up with a practical solution of a business problem. It can be a business problem, it can be a social problem, it can be a personal problem, it can be an ethical dilemma as well. All right. So that is what is the focus of XLRI. Now the questions are presented in the form of case studies. Caselets are given. The caselets may be a paragraph long, maybe a 2-paragraph long. It can also be of the length of an RC, right? And after caselet, case is presented. The case is followed by 2 to 3 questions. It might also have 1 question. All right. So certain set of behavior, reasoning and managerial questions. So because these caselets involve a problem scenario that a company is facing, that an organization is facing, that a person is facing, or that a community is facing, right? So certain stakeholders are there which are involved with our decision making. How well you take care of the interest of all these stakeholders, right? And how you come up with a problem solve with a feasible solution to a problem. So these are the traits which are tested. So question format, 7 to 8 case studies with 2 to 3 questions each, right? So this is what decision making is. Now how it's a deciding factor, because if you are good at reasoning and if you are clear with the approach that should be adopted for solving decision making questions, this section is going to be very easy for you. And this section can actually be used by the candidates to maximize their scores, right? Because as I said, the level of difficulty is not very high as long as we are clear with the fundamentals of decision making. Yes, there are fundamentals, there are some rules of decision making. So if you are through with them, you can easily solve all the caselets, right? And for that, I would again say, because it's not, decision making is not part and parcel of any other exams. And MAT has decision making, but that is definitely of a different kind. For decision making questions, you will have nothing but previous year papers and XAT. I'm going to take one session dedicated to decision making of XAT. That's going to be on 7th December. So I'm going to have the fundamentals of decision making as well as some caselets which appeared in previous year XAT. I hope with that session you will have crystal clarity about the essentials of decision making, and with those questions that we are going to discuss in the classroom and the answers that we are going to come up with will give you some more clarity about what options are preferred by XAT and what options are rejected by XAT, right? So please stay tuned to this channel and watch that video on 7th of December, this time at 5 o'clock only, decision making of XAT, all right? And apart from that session, I would highly advise please solve previous year papers of XAT to get the fair idea about decision making questions, all right? So this is definitely going to be a game changer for you, and please focus on this section to maximize your score. Quantitative NDI. So I also incorporated this slide to give you the holistic understanding of XAT. All right, so let's start with the topics which have appeared in recent years. So I have taken the breakup of these topics in 2020 paper only, right? So algebra had 4 to 5 questions around. So the topic which did not appear in this year CAT is very important for that point of view. So you have to be through with all the topics which come under algebra, right? Arithmetic has been, as it has been popular with other exams as well. This year CAT also gave you good number of questions on arithmetic. So is going to be that. So last year it was around 6 to 7 questions. For those of you who have command on arithmetic, can be in the safe position to do to clear section cutoff of ZAP. But with that, your application is definitely going to be advanced, because the questions which appear in ZAP can be calculation intensive. Geometry is very favorite of ZAP. It will have around 6 to 8 questions, right? So last year it was around 7-8 questions of geometry. So please focus on algebra and geometry and arithmetic. These 3 topics, if you're through, if you're confident, if you have consolidated these 3 topics with enough practice and previous year paper question practice, you can be in safest position. Number system and modern maths. Number system 4 to 6 question, modern maths is going to have 3 to 5 questions, right? So this part, if you're not very good at, you can still feel confident about it as long as you are through with the remaining part. DI has been consistent. 2 sets of DI have appeared in ZAT consistently for 5 years, and around 6 questions are going to be from DI, and they are pretty much doable. All students claim that the DI of ZAT is quite doable, right? It's not as tough as they are in CAT. So you better maximize your score in quantitative ability in DI with DI questions. If that is your strength, if that is your strong point, start with DI and try to do 2 sets correct, and then pick up 2 to 3 topics that you are sure about. With that, you can easily clear the section cutoff of quant and DI. Alright? If quant is not your strength, is not your forte, then you can spend around 60 minutes time on quant. Because for BM program of XLRI, higher quantitative section cutoff will be considered. So let's say if 80 is the section cutoff for decision making and verbal ability, 85 is going to be for quantum BM, for BM program of XLRI. For HR, it's going to be 80. For BM program, business management program, which is the flagship program of XLRI, it's going to be higher. For that, if you're focusing only XLRI, you will have to score very well in quantitative and BI section, whether it's your forte or not, if you're targeting BM program of XLRI. Alright? And the questions can be identified, the questions which suit your comfort level. There are definitely going to be questions which suit your comfort level, which suit your conceptual clarity. You just have to go and pick up those questions. You don't have to waste your energy on those questions that are time consuming, lengthy, and based on complicated topic, right? You have to focus on what you know. With that, you have to choose questions, right? So if you follow that strategy, quant is also going to be easy to crack section. All right, so DI, focus on DI, and with that, geometry, arithmetic, and algebra. These 3 topics should be given utmost focus. All right. General knowledge, the section which has actually bamboozled a lot of candidates because they're completely unaware of this section. When they actually start your preparation for MBA, they assume general knowledge is not going to be tested. That is why they move for MBA and not go for government exams or other exams, because general knowledge is tested in all the government exams. Right, so the escape you had for MBA just because GK was not there has finally caught you. So general knowledge is also going to be tested in management exams. ZAT is also going to have one of the sections. Now, you don't have to fret about it, you don't have to feel apprehensive about it, as long as you are reading newspaper consistently. If you are reading newspaper with focus on editorial reading, you don't have to worry about anything. Right? So last 7-8 months GK is going to be tested. So it's going to be a fine balance of static GK and current affairs. So half the part out of 25 questions, half the part, if you have been reading newspaper, will be covered. Right? So the current affairs, which is going to talk about the recent developments in politics, economics, science, geography, maybe in international and geopolitical issues, right? So if you have been reading and if you have been keeping an eye on those issues, this section is not going to be much of a task for you. As far as static GK is concerned, I would highly advise you start solving quizzes. You start watching KBC, or you start solving quizzes of KBC, right? So you're intermingling entertainment with your preparation. So that is, that's definitely going to interest you more. Same time, you can enroll yourself to any of these websites which give you GK dose every day, and they also give you GK digest for weekly digest of GK. And after you are done with that digest, you will be quizzed on what you read on a weekly basis. So with that, you will have a guided approach for refurbishing your GK, and while you are testing, you will also know where you stand and how what you need to do and how you need to brush up your GK. So I would advise you start solving exercises and quizzes apart from reading newspaper. So if you have stopped reading newspaper after CAT, you should resume reading it again, because that is one part which is going to help you till the last leg of your preparation, that is interview and GB. Right? So you stay focused on reading newspaper extensively on editorial reading. If you have enough time and if you are a good reader, you should actually read at least 2 newspapers, right? Because you need to have complementary view. You need to have a view which is one view which is echoing the popular view, another view which is the opposite narrative. You actually need to be well versed with both the narratives in order to come up with a balanced approach, in order to come up with a balanced view on an issue. So if you have enough time and if you can afford more time, and if you are a good reader, you should actually start reading 2 newspapers with editorial reading. You cannot even imagine the result that you will face, that you will have when you face your interview in your GB, just because you have been reading 2 newspapers and you have been reading the contrasting opinion in both the editorials. All right. So make it a habit that you read newspaper, and with that editorial column, you can also refer to GK books. So, but because I wouldn't really advise reading those GK books which are referred by the students of SSC, bank, or other exams which have GK as their sectional. I would say that you focus on reading newspapers and take part in the quizzes, do exercises, and read the weekly digest. And based on those weekly digests, take exercises. That is going to give you more confidence, right? Make sure that you are well aware of the fields like technology, technological development, government policies, government issues, and certain other things, and international issues, right? So American presidential election, certain facts, figures about presidential election you need to be well versed with. Apart from that, some other government heads in different countries which were prominently in news in recent time should also be covered. All right. So this part you can make a weekly target that geography needs to be covered in a week. So first week I'll devote on geography, and with that 2 hours weekly for current affairs. Right. So weekly target for static GK and 2 hours for your current affairs. Right. Next week I'm going to cover history. So a synopsis of history, medieval history, modern history. So a synopsis of history. Next week is going to devote to history, and with that 2 hours for current affairs. Alright. Third week you can focus on constitution, the fundamental rights, fundamental duties, articles related to president, articles related to ordinance, because that was quite in news recently, and certain other articles which have been asked in different exams. So keep an eye on the exercises and quizzes. With that, you will have some clarity about what kind of topics to be covered and what topics can be left out. You better focus on previous year papers of XAT as well. So general knowledge has been part and parcel of XAT for quite a long time now, say 4 to 5 years now. So 4 to 5 year paper are sufficient to give you an idea that what is to be left out and what is to be focused on. Alright, so that is about GK. Now, percentile and marks. So something which actually troubles all of us, that how, for scoring this much percentile or to clear this much percentile, how many marks do I need to score each section? So overall, if we see 75 marks, right? So out of 75 marks, if you score somewhere around 30, 35, that is going to be a good score to clear overall cutoff, right? So overall marks is going to be 30, 35 out of 75. And with that, you can ensure that with 30, 35 marks, you can easily score 95 percentile. 95 percentile, that is going to be the overall cutoff for BM program, that's Business Management of XLRI. For HR, it's going to be 90 around. So it's always 5%, 5 percentile lower than the cutoff of BM. BM is always higher. That's because that is the best program offered by XLRI, right? So this is the overall cutoff or overall marks for XLRI. Now let's see section percentile. As I said, 80 would be the section percentile for each section. For scoring 80 percentile in each section, in verbal ability out of 26 questions, you have to get at least 6 to 7 questions correct. Only section cutoff. For DM, decision making, 9 to 10 questions. As I said, the section is considered lower in difficulty level and section is considered quite doable. So this cutoff is going to be higher. It's going to be around 9 to 10. For quant and DI, 7 to 8 questions. Alright. So in order to qualify for XLRI admission for both the programs, you will have to clear the section cutoff. Other colleges are not going to look into your section cutoff except SPGen, but XLRI and SPGen will look at both overall cutoff as well as section cutoff, right? So section cutoff is going to be, section percentile is going to be 80 percentile for each section, but for BM it's going to be higher for quant, right? So earlier when we were discussing quant, so as I said, it's going to be 85. If it is 85 for each section, it's going to be 90 for BM. So 5 percentile higher for BM program. So if you are targeting that specific program, because a lot of students who are taking XAT will have XLRI, will have focus exclusively on XLRI program and that too on BM only. So for that, you will have to focus on your quant score. Fine. Now, how should your preparation? How should be your preparation for XAT? So let's talk about that a bit, and with that we will come to the end of today's session. Know the syllabus properly, right? For verbal ability, I told you what the syllabus is. It's going to be reading comprehension, it's going to be critical reasoning. Critical reasoning will be more important because critical reasoning will not have bearing on verbal ability, will also have bearing on decision making. And your reading comprehension of XAT is also kind of critical reasoning only. When you see reading comprehension questions, you will see a lot of questions will be based on the concepts of critical reasoning, finding inference, strengthening author, weakening author, finding flaw in the reasoning, finding flaw in the argument. All these questions are dealing with the concepts of critical reasoning only. So critical reasoning, the concepts of critical reasoning will definitely benefit you for solving questions of critical reasoning, but they will also be for reading comprehension and decision making. So this part becomes all the more important. For CAT, you did not focus on that, but now for 1 month, you should do that part extensively. If you are not clear with the fundamentals of critical reasoning, go for CR Bible. That's also available in the form of PDF on internet, right? So CR Bible, which is used by GMAT aspirants, which is referred by GMAT aspirants for laying the foundation of critical reasoning. Go for that. Understand what basic concepts of critical reasoning are, different patterns of reasoning are, different flaws of reasoning are. Do all the exercises given in CR Bible. And after that, you can start solving previous year papers and exam. But critical reasoning is something which you cannot afford to ignore. And if you do that correctly, that will have that will hugely benefit you in RC, CR, and decision making. So, and other than that, I told you, you also have to focus on vocabulary and grammar. The part which you left out for CAT now need your attention, because 4 to 5 questions, maybe 6 questions will be from grammar. And they are important because they are part of your syllabus. They are also important because they are less time consuming. They are also important because you can be sure of your answer in vocab and grammar. You cannot be really sure about your answer in RC, but you can have 100% certainty about your answer for grammar and vocab. Right? So that is why these two parts become very, very important. I'm going to have one session on grammar, reasoning, and vocabulary of ZAD, IFT, and SNAP in coming days, in coming 2-3 days only. So you can attend those sessions, because in that I'm going to talk about the previous year questions of vocabulary and grammar which appeared in these 3 exams. Right? Solve previous year papers, no denying the fact, nothing is going to give you the rigor of ZAD as previous year papers of ZAD. As I said, it is very peculiar exam, fundamentally different from all other exams. To understand the pulse of ZAD, you have to solve the previous year papers of ZAD only. CAT is not going to give you the reflection of ZAD. IFT and SNAP will definitely not be on par. Right? So for that, only previous year papers. See if you are able to clear the sectional cutoff of that year. See if you are able to clear the sectional cutoff which we discussed in previous slide for different programs. Right? And then see what you need to do to fine-tune your strategy in order to clear the cutoff. Do sectional practice. As I said, there is no sectional time limit, but there is a sectional cutoff. So in order to clear those cutoffs, you will have to practice sectional time limit, because if you indiscriminately spend a lot of time on a specific section, and ultimately the distribution of question is almost equal, 21, 28, 26, right? So one section does not actually demand a lot of attention. Despite being your strength, despite being your core asset, that section will have limited weightage to your exam. So you better be very balanced in your time management. So though there is not going to be section time limit, but you impose limit on yourself. If you are spending 80 minutes or 70 minutes on a specific section, that is definitely going to compromise your accuracy on other sections. Right? So section cutoffs will be considered by XLRI SP Jam. So I gave you this information that other colleges are not going to say to look at your section cutoff. That does not mean that you do you use this information for your advantage this way, right? So you have to clear section cutoff in order to qualify for these colleges. So do sectional practice so as to keep the track of your time, keep the track of your performance in each section. Do sectional practice, decision making, and quantitative ability and verbal ability. Make sure you do questions only of ZAD level. As I said, no other test is going to be comparable to ZAD. So you better expose yourself to the questions of ZAD level, and you have ample amount of questions. You have numerous question papers of ZAD. So even if you start for 10 years paper, you have sufficient amount of questions, sufficient number of questions to base your practice on, right? So you don't have to deviate on other resources. As I said, for critical reasoning, you can always rely on GMAT guide, critical reasoning Bible for conceptual clarity, and for practice, GMAT official guide, right? For grammar, you can go for any authentic resource for grammatical accuracy, for grammatical conceptual clarity, right? And for vocabulary as well, you can base your practice on previous year papers as well as a standard book which is prescribed by your institute or which you are happy referring to. All right. So base your preparation on these standard materials. All right. So I hope now we have some clarity about ZAD, why ZAD is important, what colleges accept ZAD score, what is the pattern, what is the structure, different section cutoff, the tops and different sections, all 3 sections I discussed. I also discussed GK. I also told you what you need to do for GK, how you need to prepare for GK, and what things you should avoid when you prepare for ZAT. You have sufficient time to prepare for this exam. This is 2nd of December today. The exam is on 3rd of January. You have 1 month, complete 1 month in your hand, right? And 1 month is more than sufficient time to focus on this exam as well as to excel in this exam, as long as the preparation is on track and you don't lose focus, right? So whatever happened in CAT, just bygone the bygone. What is done is done. Now there is no point in crying over spilt milk. You cannot do anything about it. Let the result come and decide what you need to do, right? So now focus your energy on that. You have next target. So don't feel that kind of vacuum in your energy or in your activities. 1 month is sufficient time to focus on this exam, and you have all the resources. You have all the resources with you. We are always there to help you. We are always there to guide you for any problem you face in your preparation. You can always connect with us. You can always drop in your comments in the comment box. If you have any ambiguity or if you have any problem with your preparation, we will do best to guide you and help you with your preparation. All right, so don't lose focus. I will urge again that shift your energy from that negativity to that. All right, so with that I come to the end of today's session. I hope I could give you some information about ZAT and the exam and the pattern, and ZAT decision making will be covered on 7th of December at 5 o'clock only. I'm going to take that session solely for decision making of ZAT. Before that, there will be 2 to 3 sessions of this at this time only, 5 o'clock. In that, I will talk about grammar and vocabulary for ZAT, IFT, and SNAP. Right? Do watch those sessions and do tell me your thoughts and opinion about the sessions that I'm taking. And do let me know if you want me to cover any specific topic for the preparation of ZAT, IFT, and SNAP. I'd be more than happy to make a video catering to your needs and your demands for a specific topic. Thank you very much.